Welcome to Summarize Science. Today we are exploring how researchers used artificial intelligence to analyze over 20 years of political speeches in Brazil. Most of the time, we only look at how politicians vote to understand their positions. However, this paper argues that the way they talk provides a much richer view of what they actually value. The researchers analyzed a massive collection of over 450,000 speeches from 2003 to 2025. They wanted to know how things are said, what is being talked about, and who speaks in similar ways. To do this, they created a computational framework that maps the language of the Brazilian Chamber of Deputies. One of the most interesting findings is a long-term shift in how politicians structure their words. Speeches have become significantly shorter and more direct over the last 2 decades. This suggests that politicians are adapting to a faster-paced media world where simple messages work better. Despite being shorter, the speeches have actually maintained a high level of vocabulary richness. The study also tracked how the main topics of debate changed in response to national events. For a long time, the focus was on infrastructure and national development programs. However, after 2020, the topic of health exploded in prominence due to the global pandemic. We can also see that public security and justice became much more dominant in very recent years. These changes show that the legislative agenda is highly reactive to the immediate needs and crises of the country. Beyond just topics, the AI grouped politicians into 49 different clusters based on their speech patterns. Surprisingly, formal party affiliation was not always the best way to predict who would speak similarly. Instead, regional identities and gender played a massive role in how politicians framed their arguments. Some groups were almost entirely made up of women from across different political parties. This suggests that women in politics may prioritize and frame issues differently regardless of their party. Similarly, politicians from certain regions of Brazil tended to stick together discursively to protect local interests. This creates a sort of discursive federalism that remains hidden if you only look at party lines. In summary, this research gives us a multidimensional map of 2 decades of political life. It shows that political speech is influenced by a mix of ideology, local needs, and personal identity. The shift toward shorter, more action-oriented language reflects how the digital age changes democracy. Looking forward, these tools could help citizens hold representatives more accountable for what they say, not just how they vote. This methodology can be applied to other countries to see if these patterns hold true globally. It transforms raw transcripts into actionable insights about our democratic institutions. Thank you for watching Summarize Science.